Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Pendergrass, Mr. Mayor, honored guests, parents, friends, faculty, and most importantly, the Morristown High School class of 2019. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you this evening. Tonight we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of these 461 men and women and proudly send them forth to the next chapter of their lives. I want to frame my remarks tonight around an ancient Chinese proverb known as the farmer and his horse. Over 2,000 years ago, there was a farmer who owned a horse. One day, the horse ran away. A neighbor approached the farmer and said, to commiserate, "I'm so sorry about your horse." And the farmer said, "Who knows if this is a good thing or a bad thing?" The neighbor was confused because he saw it as clearly terrible. The horse was one of the most valuable things the farmer owned. But the horse returned the next day and brought with him 12 wild horses. The neighbor returned to celebrate the farmer's good fortune. However, the farmer replied again, "Who knows if this is a good thing or a bad thing?" The next day, while the farmer's son was taming one of the wild horses, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbor came by to say, "I'm so sorry about your son." And once again, the farmer repeated, "Who knows if this is a good thing or a bad thing?" Well, sure enough, the next day, the army came through the farmer's village and was forcing all able-bodied young men to go and fight in a war. However, the farmer's son was spared a certain death because of his broken leg. It is clear that there are many possible interpretations and lessons to be learned from this story. The first being that it's impossible to determine your future. Believe it or not, no one expects you to know everything or to be clairvoyant. Thus, no one expects you to have your future entirely figured out. Consider the following. At the onset of the Civil War, was President Lincoln confident about a Northern victory? Or, when she began her journey along the Yellow Brick Road, was Dorothy certain that the wizard could get her back home? As you move into the next stage of your life, whether it's college, career, or the military, feel confident that throughout the past 13 years, you have mastered a large body of knowledge, and you have learned problem-solving and critical thinking skills. You have written scores of essays, solved countless equations, debated controversial topics, conducted experiments, designed vehicles, structures, and even communities. In other words, each of you leaves here tonight as an educated and accomplished adult, equipped with the knowledge and the skills to tackle your next stage of life. However, that doesn't mean that you are expected to have everything figured out, or that at the ripe old age of 18, you should know exactly where you will be in the next 5 years. As I sat in the audience at my high school graduation, I was accepted as a pre-med major at Boston College. After freshman year, I changed to pre-law. Graduated and became a salesman. After 4 years of being miserable in sales, I was inspired to become an educator, never thinking that that was my path as I prepared to leave high school. We also have to keep in mind there are unintended consequences of thinking that you should have all the answers. Shakespeare's Macbeth is so convinced of the witch's prophecies that he will be king, that this once revered Scottish noble murders his way into infamy, nearly destroying a sovereign nation in the process. Had he remained open to the possibilities the witches prophesied, he might very well have legitimately ascended the throne and not have suffered his tragic downfall. Or consider the Scottish bacteriologist Alexander Fleming, who inadvertently discovered an antibiotic in 1928. Initially, he was attempting to identify different strains of the influenza virus. However, when the petri dishes he was using were left exposed to the air, he discovered that a green mold we now know as penicillin had contaminated his experiment and was killing some of the bacteria he had been growing. Thus, one of the most important breakthroughs in medical science was the result of Fleming's openness to nature's mysteries and his willingness to look beyond the seeming destruction of his planned work to develop something that would change the course of human existence. The parable with which I started this speech suggests that humans need to see beyond the impediments that only seem to imprison us. The farmer used the information at hand to look at problems from a different perspective than his neighbors. Like the farmer, you will often be able to apply the knowledge and skills you have gained here at Morristown High School in order to remove the impediment or see beyond it. At other times, you will lack the requisite skills. In these situations, you might need to accept the current situation or continue to pursue a resolution by seeking wisdom from others. It might seem natural to question those with expertise in the situation at hand, but I urge you to inquire from people with various backgrounds, for they may offer the unique perspective that will open your mind to the possibilities. And when all else fails, you can step back and remember the words of the immortal Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones when they sang, "Hit It." On a personal note, I stand here tonight bidding farewell to one of the finest groups of students in my 30-year career. We have spent the better part of the past 7 years together, and many of you I've known since you were in kindergarten. And I want you to know that I've enjoyed every minute of our time together. As a class, your leadership, your maturity, your compassion, your sense of humor, and your camaraderie have made my job as principal an absolute joy. And for that, I thank you. So, members of the class of 2019, it is with a mixture of tremendous pride and deep sadness that we bid you farewell, confident that you are well prepared for whatever your future holds. We wish you years of good health, happiness, and success. And wherever your roads lead you, our hope is that at some point they lead you back to Morristown High School. Good luck. You will be missed.
Morristown.